Hi there, welcome to my Louisiana Kitchen, where I'll take you all around Louisiana through food. Today we are talking bread pudding. Yes, bread pudding. We're going to make our bread pudding bites, and we're going to do a chocolate sauce to go along with that. So stay tuned and we're going to jump right into it. All right folks, you ready? All of our ingredients. We have eggs, we have the bread, which is the star of the show. We have our sugar. You can use granulated sugar, you can use turbinado sugar, whatever your fancy is, go ahead and do that. We have butter, I have some heavy cream, and I have milk. So, and I have my vanilla here. Look, we have pure vanilla, not imitation. That's my preference. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just take my butter. This is just straight out, not softened really. Just take a little spatula and just brush. I want to coat the inside of my pan. So I'm just going all around and just coating, just dab on the butter. I don't want to melt my butter all the way down because I'm not going to actually put any in the bread pudding. So just coat all the way around the pan. And when you have it evenly coated, that's enough of that. Set it over to the side. So then we're going to start off with our eggs. We're going to crack the eggs, and we're going with 6 eggs because I'm going to make a large batch because I think everybody wants bread pudding. So 1, do another crack on that. Look at that, 1 hand, that's going in. 2. And you can pre-crack these, put them in a bowl if that makes it easier for you. If you have to use 2 hands, by all means, use 2 hands. It's okay. I won't talk about you. I don't think anybody else will if your bread pudding comes out good, and I know it will. So I have 2 more to go in. And this is just something that I love to make. When I first came to Louisiana, I had some awesome chefs take me under their wings, and this was one of the recipes that they showed me, so I enjoy doing this here. So now I'm going to add in my vanilla. This is 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Add that in there. I'm going to add my sugar in. Now this is 2 cups of sugar. I do not play around with my sugar. So let's get that in there. We're going to stir that real quick. I'm going to add the milk in a minute, but I just want to get a nice consistency on here. You see how this is going? Nothing fancy. You can add, once you get your basic recipe down, then you can start adding any ingredients in here that you'd like to have. I like to keep mine nice and simple, because what I find is that sometimes we complicate the food so much that when you taste something that is extremely simple, your taste buds kind of flare up and you're trying to figure out what is going on. But what actually is going on is simplicity. You're tasting the food, you're tasting everything that is in here. So that's what I like to do with my bread pudding. So you see how that is just starting to get nice and foamy. So now I'm going to add my milk, and I'm going to add 1 quart of milk in here. And I'm adding a lot of milk because I want this to soak into my bread. So if you're using like a fresh loaf of bread, you can cut the milk down just a little bit. So just give that a gentle stir. If you get a little bit out there, it's okay. We're going to clean it up anyway. So just keep stirring. You can, again, use a food processor if you need to, but look how quick and easily this goes through. Okay? So let's put this here. Now I'm going to start breaking up the bread. I'm going to use hoagie bread. This has a nice firm consistency to it. And I'm going to use some panini bread. You can use French bread, whatever you like. This is what I like to call a New Orleans tradition, but we make some awesome bread pudding in Baton Rouge also. So when you come through the restaurant, Chef Celeste Bistro, just check us out. Stop in and get you some tourist information from Visit Baton Rouge. They're right there on 3rd Street. So check us all out. See what there is to love. Look us up online. And you know I want to see your bread pudding recipe when you try this here, because once you see how simple this is, you're going to love it. Now, you see how I'm just tearing this into random sizes? That's what you do. Random sizes. It's going to soften up at different stages, and I like that crunch in there. You're going to have a crunch on top, You're going to have some softness in there, and that's what gives it the texture. But since this is going to be bread pudding bites, I want it to be a little firmer, because you'll see we're going to cut it into little squares, and you'll be able to just pick them up, pop it in your mouth, and enjoy. So almost like, think of where you are. If you have like a donut hole, we were talking about that this morning, how you take donut holes and you don't think about it, you just keep popping them in your mouth. So this is what happens with bread pudding bites. They're just so tiny and delicious that you just want to keep eating them. So again, everything in moderation, because I'm not trying to break anybody's diet or anything like that. But just wait, you're gonna love it. The only thing you're gonna do when you eat it is just nod, kind of close your eyes, and just say, yes, chef. And you'll see. So I'm gonna keep breaking this up for a minute. I won't bore you while I do that. I'll be right back. So I have the bread all broken up in here just the way that I like it. And I say that because I want you to break it up just the way that you like it. And I'll give you a little secret. If you're using sliced bread and you don't want to break it up, don't. It's going to do it on its own when you put it in here, and you get to slicing it anyway, so you're going to be fine. So just play around with your food. Have fun in the kitchen. Test the boundaries. Know your recipe before you test the boundaries though. So that's what I want you to do. Get in the kitchen, have fun. You see how loose this is right now. This is what we want. So I'm going to pour this into my already prepared pan. The oven is already on 365 degrees, and I'm going to just take this over, place it in the oven. I generally do not let mine sit and soften up any more than what you just saw me do right here. If you want yours extremely soft, let it sit for about 10 minutes and then put it in the oven, and you are all set and ready to go. So this is done. I'm going to take this and put it in the oven, and then we'll be right back, and we're going to start on this chocolate sauce, okay? Okay, so we have the bread pudding in the oven. Now we're going to start on our chocolate sauce. I'm using butter. We have some great dairy in Louisiana. Louisiana is so abundant in just about everything. I like to tell people, you go to the grocery store when you need your toiletries. But other than that, you know, shop local, shop your farmers market, see what we have, what we produce. So we have the butter in here. I'm using Nutella. You can also use chocolate chips. You can use white chocolate. You can use nibs, whatever you like. Make it yours. Adapt the recipe to what you like. I have heavy cream, and we're going to use some powdered sugar also. And then we'll finish it off with a little bit of white rum. So the butter is melting. I'm going to add about a cup of my cream in here, because this is not going to go and drench the bread pudding. This is going to be something to where you can just pour a little bit over your bread pudding bite. So let's put that in, help that incorporate just a little bit. And again, nothing fancy, no complicated ingredients are going on right here. So the next thing that's going in is the chocolate. Look at that. Just put all that in. The chocolate is the main ingredient for this portion of the recipe. So I'm going to use more of chocolate than anything else, okay? Because I want you to have that nice chocolatey flavor. And again, if you want white chocolate, do that, okay? So there's a lot of different types of bread pudding you can make. It can be soft and moist. You can also make a savory bread pudding. And what I mean by savory, this one is a Parmesan bread right here. So I wouldn't use that in a sweet bread pudding, but I would use this if I'm making like a crawfish bread pudding, or something with shrimp, or even just an egg breakfast casserole. You can do it like that. So because that's almost the same premise as a bread pudding when you're putting the bread in there. It's called a strata, but we're just not going to add the sweetness to it. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to move over to my whisk here, and that way we can really get the job done. So look at that. And all I want to do is add the heat. I'm on low right now. So you see how the color is starting to change in here? That's what you want. And on some of these things, you just need to have a little bit of patience, because if I crank this on high, will it happen faster? Yes. but it will have the tendency to scorch because we have the chocolate in here that is temperamental, and I have the cream in here, and we have the butter. So everything here is very delicate, so you want to be nice and smooth with it. So we'll keep stirring for a minute, and I'll be right back. Chocolate is going. I'm going to add a little bit of powdered sugar in here just because I want to. You don't have to, but I want to add it and help it to thicken a little more for me. And I'm one of these people, I like to call myself a piddler. I have to have something to do. I'm going to touch something. If I'm in the kitchen with you, I'm going to organize your things unless you tell me not to. So you may turn around and you're looking for something and like, I moved it. People already know in the kitchen, if you can't find it, she moved it. So just ask her where she put it, and hopefully I will remember. But I have a funny story for you. Growing up in Detroit, you know, I used to watch the Louisiana cooking all the time. But I used to also have these dreams about food, or maybe not so pleasant dreams, nightmares or something, like the tomato would be chasing me, and I'm literally like a tomato, a strawberry or something, because remember, I like food, but I don't want to be a chef. So I'm really running away from, I guess, what I'm supposed to be doing. And one of the things, I used to always have this reoccurring dream of a lot of water. So, and I just thought about it right now while I'm talking to you and telling you some Louisiana facts. Louisiana has one of the longest bridges to get from Baton Rouge to New Orleans. And now I'm relating that, it may have no correlation at all, but I'm going to put it together. That's part of my dream is, you know, being in here in Louisiana cooking, but now I'm going back and forth across this long body of water, and it's not terrifying. It's actually beautiful, just like this bread pudding is going to be beautiful when we pull it out in a minute. So think about that and come back and plate up with me, okay? All right, now let's get this rum in here. And you can use a brown rum if you want to add that in. Whatever your favorite is. If you don't want to use rum and you want to use whiskey, that's fine too. Again, use your favorite. So, bread pudding is out of the oven. I'll let it settle for a minute. Now let's take a little bit of my chocolate. I'm just going to put a little bit in the bottom. And when I say little, that's what I mean. Look at that. And just kind of roll it just to sit down on the bottom, okay? Now, I like my bread pudding from the center, so I'm going in here, get me a little bite. You see that's like 1 inch by 1 inch. You almost want to pop it in your mouth right now, but don't. Put it in here. We're going to take maybe 5 pieces. And you'll see once this sets up, and you can refrigerate this overnight, and you'll really be able to just pick up each piece by hand and just pop it in your mouth. So, and I like to use the little ramekins, so that's what I'm doing right here. Okay, let's go right here. That's 3, nope, that's 4, that's 4. I'm trying to give you extra, but we're not gonna do that. Okay, so let's put this other one in here. Now I'm gonna take my fingers, put that right there. Take my fingers and do a little sprinkle of powdered sugar. Come back over here, we're gonna drizzle. And this is the famous Chef Celeste bread pudding bites. I'm actually gonna give this one a little taste for you, because who does not love bread pudding? All that goodness in here. Nice, sweet, delicious. Okay, so thank you, and check me out on Facebook at Chef Celeste or Chef Celeste Bistro, and Instagram at Chef Celeste Gill. I'll see you next time.